Second. Okay, we begin today a new Sikha. This is from Simchas Torah, Leil Simchas Torah, Tov Shav. A very, very unique Sikha. B'chlal, the Rebbe wasn't Magiya Sikhas in those years, but Kanira, this Sikha, because it's so unique, so they prepared it and gave it into the Rebbe to be Magiya. It was at this Fabrengen when the Rebbe, towards the end of the Fabrengen,
I thought he went to Kenya.
towards the end of the Fabrengen, we didn't give up on you. We were sure you coming. What happened was the Rebbe picked up his becher and turned it upside down and motioned to everyone that all the cups of wine, everything 770 should completely emptied. And the Rebbe was holding his cup upside down and like this for like a few minutes. And everything was emptied at 770. Everything was emptied. And the Rebbe said everything should be upside down. The whole Fabrengen was very unique. Not only this, but what the Rebbe actually said. You'll see over here, this Sikha, the way the Rebbe spoke about Moshiach, and this was the first time the Rebbe spoke openly about the fact that the Nasi, the Moshiach Shabbatar, with very strong words, was unusual. It was like, Mamish, and the Rebbe spoke. No, that was years later. That was Tafshin Nun Aleph.
Right.
Talking here about Tafshin Mem Vav. Chlal Tafshin Mem Vav. You look at the Fabrengens, you do on the Mems, the Rebbe started koching more on Mashiach. Specifically in Tafshin Mem Vav was the year where the Koch and Mashiach took on a different nature, a different level. It was by this Fabrengen, and then it was the next Fabrengen, basically, or maybe there's another Fabrengen. No, the actually two Fabrengens afterwards, maybe. Yeah, exactly. Zayin Cheshvan, Tafshin Mem Vav, the Rebbe spoke about chain letters, that everyone should send out chain letters with the Radak and the Chidah that basically say that Mashiach comes just as a reward for this, that your wait is coming. That itself is the reason why Mashiach should come. And the Rebbe kocht the Mashiach, that whole Tkufa, the Rebbe started koching the Mashiach on a different level. And it only got stronger and stronger as the years went along. With Mem Vav was a big turn. It was a very big turn in this Inyan. So here we'll see this. I right after Simchas Torah, I wanted to learn the Sikha, but we had to finish the one that we were in the middle of learning. But now we're going to learn this Fabrengen. It's mamish out of this world. Ready to go out of this world? And then bring it down into this world? That's the main thing, right? Okay, it's actually on page 358. So those that will want to say Cheshbainis, they'll say that 358 is Gematria Mashiach. I believe so. Am I right? Did you count it for me? I think 358 is Mashiach. Okay, so that's page 358 and Likutei Sichos. Can't be by chance. Nothing in Torah is by for sure in the Sefer Likutei Sichos. It's wow. Okay. Says Yedua Divrei Kvaiktushis Meir V'Chama Admon Sidereno. So it's known that Friedrich Rebbe said. This is the beginning, just an Araim fair today, like just an introduction before we get into the main subject here. As B'Simchas Torah is mitzvah Sayayim B'Simcha. The main mitzvah of the day is joy. All of instruction and the commands of a Nasi, ubefrat a Nasi Chabad, definitely from the Rabbeim, is you do a Shittas Chabad, so it's known, the Shitta in Chabad, as Afal Pivas a Nasi Hu HaKoil. Yes, the Rebbe is as great as the entire Klal Yisrael. Darf es nicht bleiben bei Tzadik be'emunasa yichya. You don't live by the emunah of the Rebbe. Right. Which means this was the Shitta by the other Talmidei Amagid, by the Chassidim, which were Chassidei Chargas. That's how they're referred to, as opposed to Chabad, that the Rebbe is the one that's on a very high level and is able to attain a connection to the Eibishter that's beyond our reach, B'chlal. So how do we live? Connect to the Rebbe, and you will live by his Amunah Memela. And they teach Al Tikri Yichya El Yechaya. That Tzaddik, with his, he lives and he exudes the life and he provides and continues and the life to ones that are connected to him. But that wasn't the shit in Chabad. Afilinit beim Haschalas Aklalos Al Tikri Yichya El Yechaya. Not even by the way this is translated, as I said, Yichya Yechaya, that you can take from the Chayes of the Rebbe. Nor von dem Arabkommen von dem Nasi Adar in Tzadik ben Manasseh Yichya, that the Rebbe comes down to the level of ben Manasseh Yichya. Okay, Tzadik says the words over here are not so clear.
Yeah, not so
No, von dem Arabkommen von dem Nasi Adar in Tzadik ben Manasseh Yechaya. Maybe here it's read Yechaya. I don't think so. Okay, so I had a hard time reading this. I'm not sure how you read this. Okay, let's just see the continuation in a moment. We'll come back. Darf der Yechaya ches bepasach durchnehmen kol mitziyusay von dem wenn man belebt bepnimius. So even if the life comes from the Rebbe, and that's what Yechaya means. Yechaya means that he has life and he's mechaya others. Yeah, but that life has to come to the others, to all that are connected to him, not automatically, like you said, but has to be an oifen that it comes to them bepnimius, belebt bepnimius, durch dem was jeder von sie tut beatzmoi avidasai, when everyone himself does his part in Avodas Hashem. Where everyone does his part, that he should be permeated with this simcha. Okay.
Even in the case
Yeah.
that is Machar.
To come down. Okay, so it looks like the way you read it is darfes nit bleiben beim Tzadik ben Manasseh Yichya, can't remain by the Tzadik that's alive. Afil in it by Maschalos Aklalos. Al Tikri Yichya El Yechaya. So number one, it's not enough that the Rebbe is alive. It's also not enough the fact that the Rebbe is alive and provides life. Not from them Arab come but from this it must come down from the Nasi Adar in Tzadik ben Manasseh Yichya darf der Yechaya. From the way it is in the Rebbe, his life himself has to come down. It should come down from him and should affect everyone with pneumius. I think that's how you read it. So the point here is the Rebbe is not saying that this Al Tikri Yichya El Yechaya is incorrect. It is, but it depends how you apply it. You can apply it by saying, well, it's the Rebbe's job. He is the Nasi Adar. He has that connection. It's up to him to create that funnel of life to come down to me. And I just have to receive it and just be connected. No, but the Rebbe is saying that if you want it to affect you b'pnimius, so then there has to be a veda on behalf of the recipient as well. That he has to do, with his own keiches. Okay. So der Eufen wie das kommt von dem Nasi Adar zu Hakael, how is this accomplished? That the life and the level, the quality of life, the way it exists by the Rebbe, that should now connect to Hakael, to jeder Mensch von dem Dor, to every person in the entire world. There's such a tremendous distance from the level and quality of life, the way it is by a Rebbe, and the way it is by every person in the generation. So how do you bridge that gap? Is das l'chol l'roish durech seine shluchim and shluchei shluchim. That's accomplished first and foremost by the fact that the Rebbe appoints his shluchim, and then those shluchim appoint other shluchim. For him shliach, oiser shliach, biz afil mei shluchim. The halacha regarding shlichus is that a shliach that's appointed can then appoint a second shliach to fulfill the shlichus, and then the second can appoint a third, up to 100 shluchim and even more. Each one of them is a shliach of the Rebbe, and therefore this is what bridges the gap between the Rebbe and the people of the generation. That the shluchim are in the place of the Rebbe, bringing the Rebbe to the masses. The far is kedai. So therefore here the Rebbe is saying at this part of Brengen that it would be a good idea as the shluchim was gefunden sich it's the daz on sagen l'chaim. The shluchim should be the one come forward and say l'chaim. If a kais male v'shalim, full cup. Und danach soll man wegen dem euch übergeben zu den Schluchen, wir sind nicht dann da. You can imagine by this Verbrengen, Simchas Torah. Not many Shluchim. I mean, by the night Verbrengen, this is at the beginning of the Verbrengen, almost nobody is there. Everyone's going on Talucha, as it is. But the Shluchim that are out of town, there's definitely a handful that were there.
Has to be by his scale.
Right. Okay, but whoever is there, the Rebbe says, just say l'chaim and a kais male v'shalim. Und von den Shluchim soll the Simcha von Simchas Torah nimshach werden zu all Yidden b'chalei l'kulei. And it's through them saying l'chaim, they bring the Simcha to the entire world. Biz as von the Simcha soll man bekarev mamish zecha sein, the Simcha seilem al reisham, bebias Moshiach tzidkeinu. That was the opening. That's the Rebbe waited for the shluchim to say l'chaim, and the Rebbe, as it says, it clicked to shet moshlita hiskla nagan v'rikrisilachem bracha, and v'chol hashluchim shichyu amru l'chaim. That was the opening. It's a good question. Does the Rebbe mean people that were actually on shlichus, or anyone that went on talucha and returned at that time is also on the shlichus of Nasi Dereinu? That will be addressed actually later in the Sikha. The Rebbe will discuss who is the shliach that he's referring to. Okay, so according to what it says in the Sikha, you're a shliach, because one of the points we'll see, the Rebbe says later, anybody that has a suffix, what shlichus means, and maybe I'm also a shliach. So the Rebbe says, if you have a suffix, then you are. That's what Rebbe says. We'll see later in the Sikha.
I was on Talucha.
Okay. Okay, so this is just setting the stage that there's the Nasi Adar. See, that's how the Rebbe sets it up. There's the Nasi Adar that he has the real chayas. He's the source of the Eibish's life. Everybody else is not shaykh to this. You're living in a world, Nefesh Bahamis, Gov, Gashmis. Is completely disconnected from that. The only way to create that connection is through the shluchim. That's why the Rebbe appoints shluchim to bring people to create that connection to the level of life by the Rebbe. Okay. Shlichus von jede Yidin, bechlal, or befrat bedora dikvis of the Mashiach, so especially in our generation, right before Mashiach comes, is somachen adirele is barach betachtainim, und durch dem bringe b'mheira Mashiach tzedkeinu, vet men sehen euch begoli, if you call oilam kule is adirele is barach, and then we will see the fulfillment of this in front of our eyes. Was das is abhängig von Masena bei der Sene bis Manaseh. That is the entire shlichus. We'll then see how the world became a dira for the Eibishter. Okay. Now, wir schleimer, as der Indien drückt sich aus in dem, was bringt sich bis Sifrei HaCheshbon. It says in Sifrei Cheshbon. Which Sifrei HaCheshbon is this? So look in the Ara. Doesn't bring here of any source of Sifrei HaCheshbon. So the Rebbe says at the bottom, Tarti Mashma. HaCheshbon has two interpretations. Cheshbon Kipshutai, because the Rebbe here is going to say a gematria, if you count the letters, and also Cheshbon HaNefesh. Okay, Sifri Cheshbon HaNefesh. So meaning a shliach has to understand what his identity is. If he wants to know what his identity is, let him see the Cheshbon, the gematria of shliach, and besides that, let him make a Cheshbon HaNefesh, and he'll see if he's being true to his shlichus or not. So what's the Cheshbon? As shliach b'tziruf eser, shliach adding another 10 is begematria Mashiach. Because das is merames, wie durch der Avedas HaShlichus is memekarev bias Mashiach. That's what a shliach is. The whole idea of the shliach is that he uses his eser keiches hanefesh, and with this is mekarev the coming of Mashiach. So the explanation of what this means is, Yeder Yid, so here the Rebbe says every Yid is a shliach from the Eibishter. Is a shliach from the Eibishter in this world. Weil der Eibishter hat abgeschickt als neshama begov dola matan olam haza agashmi. Is neshama sent here in this world. Bichdei also ausnitzen seine keiches zu machen, the Welt faradir zum Eibishter, to turn the world into a dwelling for Hashem. Durch dem was allein is mekayim teire mitzvahs, usen bewahre sein. Olam kotten zeh adam. So first of all, you can't skip yourself, your own world, the Olam Kotten. If you try to make a Dira B'Tachtainim in the world around you, you first start with yourself. And then additionally, to bring the Eibishter to the rest of the world. As far as a person can reach. That's the shlichus of every neshama in this world. And in that sense, every single Yid is a shliach of the Eibishter. The ultimate fulfillment is when Mashiach comes. When it's v'zayin, v'nigluk, v'edavaya, v'ro, kobasa yachdov, kipi avaya diber. Says, what this means is, as in Mashiach, Mashiach is the revelation of it. He reveals what is being accomplished every day in our Aveda as shluchim from the Meibishn. As a shliach, so the reason why Mashiach is begematria, or rather shliach is begematria Mashiach plus the Esa Keiches and Nefesh, is because that's what a shliach is, using his Esa Keiches and Nefesh to make the dira for the Eibishter. And then Mashiach, which is the fulfillment of that, is B'gematria Shliach with the Esakeiches HaNefesh both ways. Shliach is B'gematria Mashiach with Esakeiches HaNefesh because Shliach is here to bring Mashiach. And Mashiach is the same gematria as Shliach plus Esakeiches because he is the fulfillment of the Maseinu V'Avodaseinu. It's not two separate things. You look at the coming of Mashiach as there's the condition of Golus, and then when Mashiach comes, there's a new world order that the Eibishter brings into the world as the schar for what we have done. That's how it would seem simply. But the Alter Rebbe and Tanya already said that this is not true. Mashiach is the revelation of redemption that's happening now in the time of Golus. When it happens now, it's just not developed and in its ultimate state, so it's not revealed yet. But once it's revealed, what we're really revealing is the bringing of Mashiach that's happening on a daily basis. That's the Inyan. Okay, and das is the Pirish, Akaponim Eine from the Pirushim Ve'ikri. One of the explanations, and the main explanation, and then the Shliach, B'tzirif Eser, is B'gematria Mashiach. Because L'chol Reish, darf man sein Roi zu sein a Shliach. First thing is to remember is that if you're a Shliach, you have to be on a standard, to be called a Shliach. What does that mean? You have to be similar to the one that you're representing. When the Gemara learns out that a goy cannot be a shliach or a cotton cannot be a cotton cannot be a shliach. What's the source for this? Because it says atem af atem by the mitzvah of separating truma. You could appoint the shliach to separate truma, so it says af atem, which means that you and someone else similar to you. A guy has no similarity to a yid, so a guy can't be a shliach. So from here we see Kimuvor B'Lekut Torah. The Alter Rebbe B'Lekut Torah says this point. As azay is euch benegea to jede Yidden als Shliach von dem Eibischen, as is bedoimel loy kaviyachol und de fact can sein and therefore you are similar to the Eibishter. Okay, so which basically means a person that's living with his guf and nefesh Bahamas and is ignoring and is not in touch with his neshama, so that doime, that part of him that's doime to Adam ha'elyon, he's not living with that b'chlal. So he loses that experience of being doime. So then how can he be a successful shliach? Living with his neshama, so then his neshama, he can be doime to the mishaleach. That's the inyan. Was das der inyan, was jede Yid hat in sich an nefesh, was ist chelik lekam imal mamish, doime la mishaleach, der Eibishter. Okay, that's the first point. Before you get to the Esakeiches HaNefesh, just the word shliach means not only that you were sent, but that you're doimet to the mishalech. I mean, this is b'chlal al pinigli, even the chiddush of the concept of shlichus. Shlichus doesn't just simply mean that I send you to go and do something that people make a mistake and think that what's the concept of shlichus? Let's say I send someone to the store to pick me up some tomatoes. Is he my shliach? I can't go to the store now myself, pick up the tomatoes. I send someone to pick me up. The concept of shlichus doesn't apply there. Why? Because you need the tomatoes. You don't need to be present in the store to pick it up. If you can make it, you go yourself. If you can't, someone else will do you a favor. Where and when do you need the concept of shlichus? When it's actually something that requires your presence, or you have to be there. And Torah is mechadish, that's something that you could send someone in your place that will be your representative as if it's you, mamish. Like the source of shlichus in the Gemara, benegea to kiddush. A man is getting married, and he doesn't show up to the chuppah, and he sends someone else to the chuppah to stand there and give the ring to the kala and say that atm kadeshes to ploini. So the concept of shlichus is not just a ma'isa koif ba'alma. You're sending someone to do something that theoretically you can send a robot or a monkey to do it for you. You have to be there, and the shliach is in your place. This is so strong at kedei kach that there's a discussion in the Shainim and Achrayim. If it's taka so that we see clearly that the Torah says the shlichus works even for things that we do require you, so then why wouldn't it work by many mitzvahs like tefillin, matzah, shofar, or all the mitzvahs that we know that you must do yourself and not through a shliach? So there's a whole discussion. How do we explain the distinction? Why in some cases does shlichus work, in some cases not? If shlichus actually means that you are. So over here when the Rebbe is saying doime la mishaleach, the point is that in order to actually be the representative of the Mishaleach to the point that you are him. Kipshutay. So then it's not just enough that you're just doing something like a robot that he can't do it. So you have to be on a level where you could say that you represent him, that you are mamish him. And now that itself, it's Yidua. The Rebbe spoke about it many times. There are different levels to this. There's different levels of shlichus. But on whatever level it is, that's the Nakuda of shlichus. Here there must be a vart of daima. You have to have something in the existence that his identity is the same like the Mishaleach. If not, so then you could send him to pick up tomatoes, but he can't be the Mishaleach. That's all. So when a person is on a shlichus of the Rebbe is not just seeing a person that is very smart, very charismatic, and is very influential and very warm, and the leadership skills, whatever other good attributes the person may have, and says, I'm going to appoint him as a shliach to use out all those. Yeah, of course, he has to use out all his kishrenis, but that's not the essence of the shlichus. The essence of the shlichus is that the Rebbe is tapping into the essence of the chassid, the essence of the yid, and is saying that you're going to be my shliach, which is a connection to the very essence of the daimel l'mishaleach. And then, yeah, of course, he has to use all of his kaiches that he has to fulfill that shlichus. But the connection and the ability of being the shliach is this nekuda of daimel l'mishaleach, the nefesh elokis, the neshama. That's the first recognition a shliach has to have in order to be successful in shlichus. Before you even get to the gematria Mashiach, the shliach. What does the word shliach mean? Okay. Now, dennoch, following this, davon haben as der Mishaleach, so man is ein der Shliach. So then you have to have the minui. The Mishaleach has to appoint the Shliach. Al seiner Shliach, to be a Shliach. Meaning, even if it's true that the Shliach and the Mishaleach both have a neshama and there's a dimyon between them, I'm a Jew, you're a Jew, and automatically we're really one essence and one existence, but nevertheless, there has to be this minui. You have to create that connection b'negei to this inyan prati, b'negei to this thing that the Mishaleach is sending you on a shlichus, al yidei dibur, whether verbally or the shtar shah, or it's written a note, a handwritten answer from the Rebbe, or some kind of something that would be an appointing of the shliach. The Rebbe underlines it. Okay, so it seems like that besides verbally or in writing, there's additional options. Whatever that may be, for some reason the Rebbe is highlighting that there's additional ways how one can be a shliach. Yeah. Now, in addition to this, hatach der Shliach kaiches was man ihm gegeben, der soll kennen ausführen shlichusai. And once you have that identity clear, and you know who you are, and you daim to the Mishaleach, now there's the actual fulfillment of the shlichus. So every shliach is being given all the powers necessary to fulfill and be successful in the shlichus. And for every yid, then the esa kaiches hanefesh, the Eibishter bestows upon every yid all the gifts of the 10 attributes of the soul, was der Eibishter hat ihm gegeben, was die alle esa kaiches zusammen geben ihm die volle Möglichkeit zu mekayim sein shlichus beilam. He has everything to his disposal necessary to fulfill a shlichus. That's another very important point. A shliach may think to himself sometimes, in essence, I'm a shliach. But in a practical world, when I have to fulfill my shlichus, I have this hardship, and I have this thing preventing me, and I'm not talented in all areas. Not every shliach is the best speaker. Not every shliach is the smartest. Not every shliach. I have one attributed yes, and one other one no. The Rebbe says, for the shlichus that you've been given, the Eibishter gave you every single kayach necessary to fulfill that shlichus. You have it. Just have to figure out where it is and to utilize it. So it was given, again, was the alle kayches. In general, it's the 10 kayches. Zusammen given him the full Möglichkeit zu mekayim sein shlichus beilam. It's not just the essence. He's been given the full power to fulfill his shlichus in the world. Und berdei ausführen shlichus bepeil, dafür ausnutzen die erste kayche shalai zu mekayim sein teire mitzvos mefarsim sein shlichus beilam. So since you have the essence of being a yid, you have all the kayches necessary, so now you just have to put it to work. Weil diese, was der Shliach, Shalakadosh Baruch Hu, nutzt das, seine erste Keiches, und Eisfir, Shlichus, Be'olam, Samach, Nadir Leis Baruch B'Tachteinem. So now, when you have the essence, which is the Shliach, the identity, and then, in addition, all the Keiches to actualize and apply that essence to bring the Eibishter in the world, is in the Gal of the mean from Mashiach. That's how the Shliach and the Esa together brings Mashiach. Shliach, but Sirif Esa Keiches is the Gematria of Mashiach, the fulfillment of the Shlichus. That's the general concept of the Sinyan. Okay, this is the first phase of the Sikha. From here, the Rebbe takes it much further into the Sinyan, as we'll see. It's a Shem.
Very nice.
Yeah.